Yes. Linda asked me if I would talk to you for 6 minutes about my writing. Writing? I was born in 1934. No one knew anything about writing. Nobody in my family wrote. Nobody was famous. We did English. We did compositions. We had to get good marks so we could get through our exams. But on the other hand, at the grammar school they did say in the summers, has anyone written anything for the school magazine? And yes, I happen to have a little poem. So 1947, 1948, 1949, 1951, I had little poems and an article in the school magazine. And then got my exams, enough marks to get through English, go to college, teach English, same thing. Read other people's stories, say what you thought about them, comprehend them. But writing, personal writing, no, that wasn't on the cards. I got married to a very clever man who was an English literature specialist and a lecturer. Nobody was interested in anything I might write, so I brought up the children, and he played about with other women, and I got divorced and went back to teaching and taught English. No writing. But when I was 50, I was beginning to crack up. Took tranquilizers for 27 years to enable me to get through my life. And I asked for help at Mind. And I had 8 months of supervised counselling, and what a shock, I found out I was bisexual. And I didn't know how to cope with that. And I wrote, that's what it poured out of me. And every night I had a typewriter, and every night I clapped away and collected it. And then I joined a writers group here at Shelton, Cactus Bookshop, 1986. And they said, we'll help you. I said, I'd like to perform some of this. And they said, you get the play together, we will do the things behind the scenes. So I wrote Imago, the coming out, the final stage of the chrysalis. And we performed it at the Gay Club. We performed it at the Pankhurst Centre in Manchester, Green Room Theatre in Manchester, Keele University, and the Forum Theatre there. And then I wrote, when my mother was dying, all my feelings. And I wrote got another play together with the help of my pals. And it was called Death, My Mother and Me. And we performed it in the Forum Theatre. And then nothing. I was 50 then. 51, 52. I got a piano accordion and learned how to play a piano accordion, and that kept me occupied from 60 onwards. And then 70, I was absolutely plagued by a daydream. And I couldn't forget it. I was living in it. And I was peeling the potatoes and talking in my head. And my friend said, what's the matter? And I said, I can't get out of this daydream. And she said, you're writing a book, get it down on paper. So I did. It took 7 years before I got it in one piece. But meanwhile, somebody told me about the Gay Authors Workshop. And they're in London. And I sent off a piece of writing. And they wrote back and said, do you want to join us? £3 if you're unwaged, £8 if you're waged. And my story was in their newsletter. And it was so brilliant. And then I went down to London for their meetings. And the support, they read, they proofread. Nothing you say is too extraordinary or allowed. You know, I was so, what do you call it, so didn't dare say what I felt and what I believed. And they said, say it. So I talk about sex and relationships. These are lesbian romances, and I rather like that character. So I wrote about another character in the book. And then I thought, well, love and romance is all very well, but 25 years later, how are they doing? And so I wrote, nothing stays the same. And then I talked to somebody, and she said, well, you mentioned that girl who's very sexy in the first book. She said, you said, she taught somebody something. She said, nobody can learn anything from a person like that. And I thought, don't you dismiss my character like that. I believe in growth and development. So I wrote the 4th one. But in each of them, the characters are getting older. And there's a new theme, but the come through, and I've just finished my last one, but it needs proofreading and approval from London before I publish it. Sorry?
1 minute.
Have I finished?
No, you've got 1 minute.
And that's consequences. So if you want to know how to write, take Lexia, because it's got lots of competitions in the back. I entered, I won a 2nd prize in Writers' Forum. I'm now, being 80, I'm perfectly qualified to belong to the older feminisms network. I thought, I don't know how to write, and I'm writing children's story, so I paid my 90 quid and did 2 years of lessons with the Academy of British Writers. Won 3rd prize in their international competition, which was good because it was 2000, well, I was still 2000. Got the stories written in books that they've published from, well, with my, Paradise Press is the website with all the gay books on it. And they publish collections of stories, collections of poems, and my stories, odd ones, are in these. Right, that's me.
Well, well.